We can get going now. Well, welcome to today's Monday morning mortgage update. My name is Sean Woland, and we're going to go over a couple different topics today. We're going to go over what rates are doing, what we expect for this week for rates, and we will also be reviewing how to set up your homebuyer webinars and how to capture buyers and become the real estate agent in your area that focuses on educating those buyers looking to create wealth through real estate. So I am going to be jumping into this right away, and I'm excited for what I'm going to show you today. So we could probably be very busy doing these as we move forward because there's a lot of opportunity for education and there's a lot of tools we can use to really get us to where we want to be. So without further ado, let's see what in the heck is happening with the mortgage rates. So I want to show you something real fast because mortgage rates are based on a couple things. Inflation is one of the biggest impacts on mortgage rates. And we have these inflation numbers that are coming in from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, and their inflation rates are at 3.3. And they only use a handful of major pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, when doing their statistics. Trueflation takes in hundreds of different aspects of the economy to try to figure out what the actual inflation rate is. Their inflation rate is actually at 1.77. So BLS is reported at 3.3. Now, the Fed's target rate is 2. So if you go by Trueflation, which is the core inflation rate, that Trueflation, if you can go to their website, it's really cool. But if you go to their website and look at theirs, we are right in line and rates should be at a nice low pace. But the BLS, I call it BS because their numbers are kind of skewed. Not the best when it comes to, I think it's a little archaic. But if you can see over the last 4 months, we've seen inflation really has come down quite a bit. Now we have seen a little bit spike up due to the whole a little bit of tariffs. There was a one-time spike, came back down, but then now we have the war to deal with. So the war is a temporary item. It's not an economic issue. So once this Iran thing is figured out, rates should come down more. Fuel should come down to average of $3 a gallon, from what I've heard across the speculators, uh, websites, etc. So we should be getting back to normal here soon, but this inflation is very low, and we should have nice low rates because of it. This Iran thing is what's kicking it up a little bit, but still, the trueflation numbers are low. So where does that show? What are mortgage rates doing right now? We do have this thing in Iran. If you know March was not a good month. So here was the mortgage-backed securities in March. We started the very beginning of March, and it was just a complete free fall for mortgage-backed securities. We lost a lot. When mortgage-backed securities, the 30-year universal mortgage-backed securities, when they lose value, mortgage rates suffer. So we saw mortgage rates lose their shorts almost every day in the month of March. April, we've sprung upwards. We bounced. Thank God. It was a rough patch in March, but we've come back up, and now we're kind of at a stalemate. We don't really know what Iran's going to be doing. On Friday, we heard that there was going to be an opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and we started going above this 25 or 100-day moving average here. We went above it, and then we quickly retreated. And now today we're kind of in between the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average here, kind of stuck in this little space the last 4 business days. So really, it's going to depend on what happens through the Strait. Will the ceasefire deadline of tomorrow expire, and will there be a lot more military action? We don't know. But the Iran thing is a bigger moving factor than the actual economic data. Inflation is low, rates should be nice and low. We should be up here closer to the 5 right now. I mean, we're not far off, but let's see what the 10-year is doing real fast. We're kind of stuck in this pattern right here. 10-year went up and then we bounced back down. Friday was actually really good. We lost a lot on the 10-year. When the 10-year goes down, mortgage rates go down. So when the 10-year goes down like it did on Friday, they kind of retreated a little bit. We're kind of in the middle today. Not much movement there. So we're stuck in between a Fibonacci level and the 25-day, the 50-day, and the 200-day and the 100-day moving average here. So there's a lot. I think we're going to be in this range for a while until we see a breakout with Iran. So I think rates should stay steady until we get a real clear path on what's going to happen with the Strait of Hormuz, with the oil traffic going in and out of that strait, etc. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Hopefully, it'll be good news for mortgage rates. Here's where we're at. It's not bad. Last week when we did this presentation, we were at 6.4. We're down a tenth, 0.10 in rate. Not a lot, but still, hey, we'll take everything, right? So we are down a little bit. So rates are in the high fives on VA and FHA and 15-year, and then the lower sixes on a 30-year fix. Now, keep in mind, this is the creme de la creme of borrowers. This is 780 plus credit scores. This is the perfect borrower for all loan aspects. If you do have a customer that has lower credit scores or they have less down than 30%, you will have a higher interest rate. Everything is risk-based in the mortgage industry. So if you got somebody that has a 620 credit score on a conventional loan, they may have a rate closer to 7. So just keep that in mind. This is a nice barometer to show you what the rates are doing for the perfect borrower, and it's good to kind of gauge week to week. So, but if you do have a customer that is wondering why they don't have a 6.3 rate and their credit score is 680, I'm happy to disclose that with them and go over it. There are loan level pricing adjustments. You can actually Google them, look up loan level pricing adjustments, Fannie Mae, and you can see the cost of points for each of the scenarios with 20% down and a 740 credit score, what the points are for that scenario versus more down with a higher credit score. It's all transparent, so you can always look that up. But so what's happening this week? Not much. We have a China rate decision today, what they were going to do with their central bank. We have the ADP weekly numbers coming out tomorrow. Retail sales are coming out. Pending home sales are coming out tomorrow. We do have a bond auction on Wednesday. We do have initial jobless claims coming out on Thursday, which is always a market mover. Initial jobless claims, if they're high, and continuing jobless claims, if they're high, could be good for mortgage rates. And then consumer sentiment on Friday. So kind of a light week this week. Not much going on, which is good because we could have huge swings back and forth with the Iran deal that's going on. All right, looks like somebody has a chat here. What is included in Trueflation food? Yes, food is included. There's a lot of other things that are included as well, a lot more than the actual BLS numbers. Joyce, a lot of times oil is removed from it because the feds cannot control oil. And so there's some things, oil and gas, that are removed from the Trueflation. But good question. There's actually, if you Google that, there's a nice breakdown of all of the different aspects of what Trueflation does compared to BLS. It's a nice little chart. I may be able to show that to you next time. But now, what I'm going to be going over next is near and dear to my heart, and that's Homebuyer Webinars. So here's a little, hold on one second. There we go. Monthly Homebuyer Webinars. So I want to teach you how to utilize Homebuyer Webinars as a marketing tool, and you need to permanently create this as something that you can do either quarterly, you can do it monthly, you can do it annually, you can do it whenever you want. I host them, and I will be hosting them monthly for first-time home buyers, and then we'll do a monthly topic that's specific as well. So I'm going to be doing 2 per month. Here's the fun thing behind this. If you don't want to do these yourself, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to do them. But I'm going to be doing them, and they need to, when they register for these, they have to put who their real estate agent is. So if you wanted to say, hey, if you're looking to learn about the home buying process, go to monthlyhomebuyerwebinars.com and you can register for the next one. There's a loan officer who's top 1% in the nation that is going to be hosting a Q&A session afterwards as well. On these, you can learn everything you need to know about how to prepare yourself to buy a home, and it'll be flagged to you because they have to put who they're working with in the registration. So if you would just want to send them to that, you can. Or what I recommend is we host one personal to you, and we both do a dual session on home buying and what it takes to become a first-time home buyer or other topics. So here's a kind of a breakdown of what we need to do together to do this. First off, we need a domain name. So from mine, and you can see it on this little ad right here, if you go to monthlyhomebuyerwebinars.com, you can register for the next one. And it says, are you waiting? Are you waiting for mortgage rates to drop? Right? We can have them go directly to that website, which is monthlyhomebuyerwebinars.com. Yes, I own that. I own a lot of other ones as well. But when they go to that, they register, then they're going to be able to see the next home buyer webinar, and then they'll be able to register for that. And then it gives them reminders up into the day. So first off, you need to create a domain name for this. It could be anything. If you need help with domains, I can walk you through that. It's not too difficult. I'm going to show you something real fast. And this, let me see if I have it actually up. Oh, yeah, I do. Look at this. These are my domain names. Yes, I'm a little bit of an addict. I've got Zero Down Purchase, Platinum Approval, AI Mortgage Man, SeanWollen.com, AZ Homebuyer, Seminars.com, MortgageYouTube.com, BuyABiggerHome.com, TrackMyHomeValue.com. I have a billion. So we can all go buy some. And yes, they actually go up in value. You can auction them off, but we can go on together and we can search for a domain name with GoDaddy and we can find one that's specific to you. So if you wanted to do home buyer webinars, you go to GoDaddy.com, but home buyer, you can do Peoria home buyer webinar, and you can buy that. It's probably available. There it is right there, Peoria Homebuyer Webinar. You can buy it and you can advertise to all of Peoria. And you can send that directly to your webinars, which are advertised right here. So when you go to mine, which is www.monthly, I can spell right, homebuyerwebinars.com. You click on that, what does it do? It takes you right to the registration for the first time home buyer webinar. It's free. It says the date, and then you can register here. Notice you have to put, are you currently working with a realtor? If so, what is their name? You have to do these. And what is your timeline for buying? Do you have any specific questions or topics you would like to discuss? And then their name, email, and they register. They click here, boom, they're done. I get their registration. It sends them automatic updates. This is done through Zoom. There's a lot of different softwares that you can do to create your own webinar process. I use webinars with Zoom. It's a Zoom account, but there's a Zoom meetings account, and then there's a webinars account. Webinars is important because that's the only one that you can do where they're actually they're incognito, so to speak. They are not going to be seen by a bunch of other people. It's not a whole bunch of people on once. It's very private. So when you go onto a webinar through the webinars, you only see the speaker. You don't see everyone that's on the call. So it's very private. So if you want to just go and hop on and just watch, you can without anyone seeing you, which is different from meetings. Meetings is you all see each other. So you definitely want the webinar account. Then we want to start doing social media ads, which are incredibly easy to do. And when I say incredibly easy, everyone should be doing at least one ad per week for real estate utilizing AI. I say do it every day because you want to become the professional, you want to get niche, you want to really get into your what you want to market on. And I'm going to show you some ads you can create in seconds. But we can create any topics you want for these webinars. It does not have to be first-time home buyers. That can just be one of them. We can do a series and do one every month. We could do one like a loan products for investors, like how to become uh, a millionaire through real estate, how to help your children buy their first home. No income documentation, no problem. Buy a home with no income verifications. Or is a reverse mortgage right for you? I mean, there's no end to the amount of these webinars we can do as far as topics. And then what do we need to do? We need to set it up, create the meeting online, which you can do on your Zoom webinars account. And then you just advertise them with the link to the registration. And it can look something like this. Are you waiting for mortgage rates to drop? Join us via Zoom webinars for a monthly homebuyer webinars, first Friday of every month. This was going to be, I left the topic in here like, Will rates ever reach 4% again? You may be waiting forever. Something like that. Have them register so we can learn about what rates are doing so people can understand the next steps. And then here's a couple that I just threw together literally in 5 seconds. I just asked ChatGPT, create a webinar social media ad for me for first-time home buyers. I want to talk about zero down. I want to talk about how to get the lowest rates, how to create a budget, and then how to get expert guidance. And I highly, highly recommend we do a $100 Visa gift card for all registrations that attend the webinar. That gets people to on these things. They don't have to drive, which is a pain in the butt for most people now. So doing these in person is hard. You can do them in person. I have done them, but it's hard. They would rather be in their pajamas at home doing it like this. But add a $100 gift card to it, and I promise you the number of registrations will go through the roof. But create one of these, post it on social media with your live link to the registration, and just watch what happens. We can do that. You can post them every day. You can mix these up and take this guy right here and copy it and then put it into ChatGPT and say, create a new variation of this to make it look fresh. Put it on your Facebook and Instagram, create a little reel on TikTok, all kinds of things you can do to advertise these. Really, really great way of getting buyers and being able to create an image for yourself as the educator, as the expert in your field and your area. You can make these highly specific to just your farm areas. Like you can make one that says, attention McCormick Ranch residences. Join this quick webinar online to show you what's happening in your current market, what you can do to utilize your equity to purchase additional rental properties. And you can make it hyper specific to just your area. Or you could go national and say, are you looking to buy second homes in Arizona? Find out why buying a second home in Arizona is the best thing you can do, and go do a webinar on that. There's no end to the advertising through social media, through LinkedIn, through TikTok, through everything else, right? It's free advertising at our fingertips. We just need to set up the platform to do it. The first step is creating your account through the Zoom account or through other webinar type software. Perfect, Steve. Thank you. Thank you. Steve's got some Diamondback tickets, so he can be on there as a co-sponsor for these. And they say, oh, you want to hit a home run by buying your first home and by watching the Diamondbacks, something like that. Learn about buying a first home and win tickets to see the Diamondbacks. Fun stuff like that, right? We need something to get them on these. And Steve, that's a great idea. So that's a little insight. Now, each of you will have your own little brainstorming session within your mind right now that's probably going on how you can utilize these. Definitely think about your business, what you need to do to help create more buyers, and what I can do to assist you in this. Again, I'm going to create these already for me to get buyers. If you want to send your buyers to these, remember, they have to put your name in there as a realtor in order to register. And if they don't have a real estate agent, guess what? I can feed those realtors that feed me. So it's a great way for us to gain buyers together. But you can also send yours directly to this. If you're like, you know what? I don't want to do this. Sean, great. I'll just send them to yours. I'll tell them to go to monthlyhomebuyerwebinars.com to see what's coming up next, and they can register that way. Any questions on this and how we can utilize and get these all set up for you to take advantage of, well, potentially free advertisement online, right? So any questions?
Sean, this is brilliant. I love this, and I will definitely be utilizing this. About on average, how long do you suggest a webinar to be, and how long
No
are they?
longer than 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, the people are so ADHD. They want the goods and they want to get out. And these are very interactive. There's full-on chats. There's chats that can happen. There's Q&A sessions that can happen. So when you're on here, I usually like to get all the meat and potatoes out in the first 15 to 20 minutes and then open it up for a Q&A session. Those Q&A sessions could last for an hour. They could last for 15 minutes, but it's more of those once they have the information and our contact information to get what they need out of it. If they have questions, they can ask and get off. If they don't, they can exit, and it's a quick, easy place where they can learn. And if it's simple and easy for them and it doesn't take an hour or 2 hours out of their day, they will go to it quickly and they'll remember about it. And they'll say, oh my gosh, here's another one on investment properties. I know it's not going to be very long, 30 minutes max. I'm going to jump on this one as well. And they can constantly go to us and go to the monthly homebuyer webinars and become real estate experts. So yes, keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it quick. Do you recommend PowerPoint slides? That's what I use. Absolutely. I do always recommend PowerPoint slides. Some good slides that work really well is I always pull up one specific community in the area that has rental properties and a home that's for sale and do a 0 down or 3% down comparison or down payment assistance program on what the rent is versus what it costs to buy that, and then what your future wealth is in 5 years. That way it's hyper specific to their community and to what they're actually in, because they like to see reality. Talking about stuff doesn't resonate unless they see reality, and those slides is a great way of doing it. But yeah, great question, David. And guess what, guys? ChatGPT can make those slides for us. It's incredible. It's really AI is really helping. AI is my new marketing rep. I mean, literally, I asked to do everything. It's my new marketing department. So if I need a flyer, AI. I have 4 or 5 different AIs I'm playing with. And really, they all differ in their own ways. So I have ChatGPT, the biggest version you can get on the pro version. And it does some miraculous things. And it does it very quickly. Any other questions? All right. Well, let's start getting some buyers together. Let's get these put together. Let's start advertising them. We can co-advertise them. You can hand these out at open houses. There's no limit because it's online. It's easy. People can do it in the comfort of their pajamas, and it's simple and it costs zero. Free 99. All right, guys. Well, enjoy your week. If you do have any questions or any mortgage needs, I'm always here for you. Have a phenomenal week. I will stay on for a little bit if you have any further questions.
Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You have a great day.
You too.
All right, y'all have a great week.